What's good, y'all? Elvis here with another episode of Better Barbering. Better Barbering is a series I started on YouTube where I just share tips and tricks that made me a better barber that other people can implement into their own careers to make them better barbers. Today I'm talking about the importance of time management. Time is the single most valuable resource we will ever have. Money we can spend, get back. Time that does not apply. Every second you spend, you will never get refunded back. So ideally, you want to use your time as wisely as possible. Working as a barber or independent contractor or somebody who's in control of their own schedule, sometimes the freedom of making your own schedule makes it hard to be disciplined about your time. When your schedule isn't so rigid, you can take some time off if you didn't plan on it. You can pull up late to an appointment. No one's really going to yell at you, you feel me? And most of the time, clients are some level of flexible when it comes to time, but that's a slippery slope. I think being punctual is very important as a barber. Everyone's time has an infinite amount of value. You could be doing anything you want with your time. So I take people's time very seriously. I'm always trying to make sure I'm on time, if not early, to my appointments. Ideally 15 minutes. If I had a client that set an appointment for 4 o'clock and they get there and they're waiting around till like 4:30 for a cut, I feel like I disrespected their time. And assuming that this is me dropping the ball with my schedule for the day, that's on me. That's a free cut. Now, if it was some outside source that messed up my schedule, if it was like a crazy storm or a bunch of my other clients are late, I'm gonna charge them a late fee, but then I'm gonna keep it pushing. Even if I just wanted to squeeze in an appointment and that pushes my appointments back a significant amount of time, but just the way I operate, I gotta give them a free cut. I know a lot of barbers aren't gonna be with giving free cuts just because you were a little late. I mean, I can understand it. It's like people weren't really getting appointments on a consistent basis with a barber until recently. Like there's people that were doing it, but it wasn't an overall expected thing like it is now. You know, and I feel that. But time is my most valuable resource. The most valuable resource I will ever have. So don't waste my shit. The reason why I have such a high expectation of myself as far as my clients' time is because I have that high expectation from my clients for respect for my time. I can't stroll into an appointment 15 minutes late and then be pissed when people are late to my appointments that they schedule with me. I can't expect something in return of something that I'm not giving. Being in control of your time as a barber is great. It opens up, like it gives you a new level of freedom, but it's also stressful. Solely placing all the pressure of your own success on yourself is not a thing a lot of people do because it's not fun. Most people's traditional jobs, you know, they sign up for a role, they're given a schedule, they're given a certain amount of money, and they're expected to fit their life within that. With being a barber or an independent contractor, you don't have any of that shit. That's all on you. You gotta structure your schedule. You gotta decide what your rate is. You gotta make all these small decisions that build up the framework of your life. And that's a lot of pressure most people don't have. And being in control of your schedule, being able to take a day off if I like to, just out of nowhere, take a week off if I like to, out of nowhere. Those are beautiful options, but that freedom comes with a whole lot of responsibility. Like, sure, I can take a week off. If I come back from that week and I got no appointments lined up, I can't look to anybody but myself. That's all on me. Most people, when they get a job and they set up their schedule, they're like, oh, I'm gonna be working during this time and do whatever with this other time. With being a barber, you could say, oh, I'm gonna be working from so-and-so to so-and-so. That don't mean anybody's gonna come get a haircut. So the work isn't done. There's more stress than just making your schedule. You gotta maintain the consistency of your schedule. You gotta advertise, you gotta network with people. All the beautiful freedom I get being a barber is dope, but that responsibility is not light. It's scheduling. How are you managing the time in your schedule? If I go a work day without eating, my morning appointments, it's whatever. I'm not really big on eating breakfast in the morning. But if I don't eat lunch, all the appointments I have after lunch, I feel like I'm at a point where my quality doesn't decrease, but I cut a lot slower. I'm a lot more sluggish. I'm less of myself. I'm low-key kind of irritable. So these are all things to take into consideration when you're making your schedule. Like when I first came in, I'm like, bro, I'm just trying to cut as much hair as possible, go straight through all the appointments I have for the day, group them all together, and get it done with. And now I'm not as much in a rush. I understand the value of pacing myself because sure, like I can I can feel good that like, oh, I did a bunch of haircuts straight, like 10 hours of haircuts straight for the day. And there's that little ego boost like, oh, I guess I do this now. But if I could have did the same amount of haircuts, if not more, in less time and felt better about myself, why not do that? Way back when, my schedule used to be like 6 days out the week I was cutting. And if I'm cutting that heavy every day, little to no breaks, then that last day I have of the week, I'm really spending most of that recovering from the week. And that just lowers my quality of life. So I don't do that anymore. Most of the barbers I know do appointments, but I understand a lot of barbers don't. And so this doesn't necessarily apply to everybody. But how you schedule your appointment blocks is super important. Back when I was starting and I was cutting on campus a few years ago, I booked my appointments in hour slots because it took me an hour to do a haircut. But then when I went to barber school, my instructors were really trying to get on me about speed. And I was like, bro, I can do what I thought was a really great fade back then. Now I think it's more so decent. I still think it's all right. But I can do a decent fade in an hour. Why do I necessarily need to move faster than that? Like, I'm comfortable here. Now looking back, I know that anytime I was just comfortable, I was slacking, to be real. I really wasn't trying to hear it, but they were trying to teach me to cut faster. So I started, trying to cut faster. And bro, like, we are a lot more capable than we think. I was really taking an hour this whole time. I was taking an hour to do a cut. I felt really good about my level of quality. Like, I did the best I could. I could not say I half-assed on any of these cuts. Some of them came out better than others, but no one can say I half-assed on any of these haircuts. After time of just trying to learn different techniques to get my time down and whatnot, I think my fastest fade on record is like under 10 minutes. I went from an hour to 10 minutes. Just for the record, with that 10-minute fade I had, there were still some things I could have cleaned up. But this was just like, I just wanted to see the fastest I could finish my fade process. So I went in and, touched things up later. That gave me a lot of insight, bro. That really helped me understand my scheduling better. And to be honest, I was really sleeping on the perks of generally being a faster barber. My instructor kind of explained it in what I think are really simple terms now. Like, I don't understand how I didn't really see it. But he was just talking about, yo, if you can cut your haircut time in half, that's twice as much money you made today. Who would have thought? But part of the reason I wasn't really trying to hear him though was anybody that knows my story knows I cut hair because I wanted to cut hair. And then it started to make money. It was never a thing I was doing necessarily to chase the bag. I was more concerned with progressing in it as an art. And when I was doing that, I wasn't concerned with time because I was more impressed by my artistic ability, more like what I could do with clippers regardless of how long it took. But now looking back, developing my speed was one of the most valuable things I could have learned when it comes to my time management, because before my appointments were 1 hour and I needed that entire hour. And I would still be running over with my other appointments. Being able to do the same haircut in significantly less time. And personally, now I think I could do a fade way faster than 10 minutes, if I'm being honest. I think I can. But because I could finish a fade in 10 minutes, I changed my appointment durations to 30 minutes instead of an hour. So then let's say 10 to 15 minutes, I'm doing a fade, and then 15 minutes, I'm detailing. And after doing that for a while, putting out better quality haircuts in a fraction of the time. That ended up in turn blessing my pockets. So for a time, my appointments were 30 minutes, but then I stretched them back out to an hour because, I increased my price and I also include complimentary shampoo and other things. And I just generally wanted more time per client because at a certain point, I felt like I was just doing haircuts, busting them out. When my appointment times were shorter, I was just doing more work for more money, even though it was more time efficient. But now I'm doing less work for more money, but the quality of time is a lot higher because I have more than enough time to do the haircut. I don't feel rushed at all. I got gaps and buffer times in my schedule. So it's really, I'm just cooling, cutting hair at my own pace all day. I feel like I really increased the quality of my life, to be real. I'm making so much emphasis on time in this video, but time is really the most valuable resource we will ever be blessed with. Time is the single most important factor in every decision you have ever made in your life that you ever will make. If there's something that you don't like about your life right now, and you don't got any money or other kind of resource to put towards it, if you don't put some damn time in, the way we manage time influences every decision in our lives. Why not influence it for the better? All right, appreciate y'all tuning in to another episode of Better Barbering. If you're not subscribed, subscribe, like the video. If you'd like to follow me on Instagram, check me out at Cuts by Elvis on Instagram. If you'd love to support your boy, check out craftoverclout.com. We got t-shirts, stickers, we got pins, all at craftoverclout.com. Also, check out the Craft Over Clout podcast. You can find it on craftoverclout.com or all major streaming platforms, Apple Music, Spotify, all that. But till next time, Craft Over Clout, I'm out.